Welcome to my Accounting 1110 discussion. Today I have a goal. That is to demonstrate the entries used for a petty cash fund. I'm going to describe some situations to you, and I would like to have you make journal entries for me. Let's get started. The first thing I'd like to have you do is to make a journal entry that would set up a petty cash fund in the amount of $100. Please put this on pause, make an entry, and come on back. How'd you do? In my journal entry, I debited petty cash for $100 and credited cash for $100. The only time you'll make a journal entry into the petty cash fund is to set it up or to make it permanently bigger or smaller, and it will remain at that same amount indefinitely until you do one of those two things. That's called an impressed fund, and what we've done in that first entry is transfer the cash out of cash, the current asset, and into petty cash, another current asset. Good job. At the end of the month, we find that we have 3 receipts in our cash box towards the petty cash fund, and $10. Your goal now is to make a journal entry to reimburse the fund, recognizing the purchases these 3 items represent and the cash that will be needed to bring the fund back up to the $100 amount. Go ahead, put this on pause, and make your entry. Welcome back. How'd you do? Here's my entry. Notice that I picked up the supplies. I picked up the freight out expense, the miscellaneous expense, totaled those. My expenses totaled $90. I wrote a check for $90, and the cash fund is reimbursed. The cash I had on hand was $10, as you'll recall from the information above, and the amount that I reimbursed it for was $90. And $10 and $90 will bring the fund back up to our $100 mark. How'd you do? Let's have another entry now. Entry number 3. Here's another example. We look at our petty cash fund and we see that we have 3 receipts in it: supplies, office supplies expense, and travel expense, and that we have cash on hand for $2. Your goal now is to yet again make me an entry to record the reimbursement of petty cash with this set of facts. Go ahead and put me on pause, get your entry done, and then come on back. Look at my entry. I'm not quite through. I thought I'd check it out with you. I picked up my supplies. I picked up my office supply expense, and I picked up my travel expense. And I note that I have cash on hand of $2, so I know that I need to credit cash for $98 because I know I need to take the fund back up to $100. But when I add up my expenses, they only come to $96. My journal entry does not balance, and that is because I'm short. If you add up my amounts I have so far, these equal $96, and I need to get to $98. So I know I have a cash over and short amount in the amount of $2. In this case, it's a debit for 2, and I know, therefore, that that is an expense. Sometimes cash can be over and have a credit balance. In that case, it acts kind of like a revenue, and cash can be short and have a debit expense. In that case, it's a true cash shortage. Now, you notice I have my cash on hand of $2, and I reimburse the fund for $98, and if you add the $98 and the 2 together, you can see that I have brought my fund back up to $100. The key to making the journal entry right is to make sure that the amount you write cash out for, brings the fund back up to the the amount you need, in our case 100, to total the amount of expenses and make sure that they equal that, and if they don't, make an entry for the difference, cash over and short. Well, there you go, a demonstration of the entries that would be used for a petty cash fund. Hey, thank you for joining